Today, Rupert helps the Professor recover his cold cure from Raggedy, and helps Raggedy to recover in Rupert and the Cold Cure.
There's a little bear like you've never seen before, who's a lot of fun. Children everywhere grow to love him more and more. He's the number one. There's a million stories to be told of the things that he's done, and he's gonna share them all with you, so come along. Rupert, Rupert the bear, everyone sing his name. Rupert, Rupert the bear, everyone come and join in all of his games.
Rupert is painting a picture of the snowy garden, but he finds it very difficult because he has no white paint. When Mrs. Trunk telephones to tell his mother that Edward has a cold, he's quite pleased to abandon his picture. "Can I go and see him?" he asks eagerly. "Yes, and why don't you call on the Professor on the way?" Mrs. Bear suggests. "He may have finished inventing his cold cure by now." Rupert thinks this is a very good idea, and he decides to take his paints so that Edward can do some painting too. Mrs. Bear gives him a roll of paper to paint on and tells him to wrap up warmly, for it's a bitterly cold day and the wind is everywhere. Poor Raggedy is so cold. He just sits and shivers and shivers and shivers.
"I shall never get warm,"
says Raggedy.
"It's cold when the wind blows, and the more it blows, the colder it grows. It's freezing my toes and freezing my nose, because it's so cold when the wind blows. I must do something about that wind,"
whimpers Raggedy, whose teeth are chattering like castanets.
"It's the hole in the tree that's the cause of the trouble. If I could only block it up."
Raggedy is surprised to see the Professor in his shirt on such a cold day. But the paper he's holding is the very thing to block up a hole. He grabs it from him. "Stop! That's my cold cure!" the Professor shouts at Raggedy. But Raggedy never listens. He's off. "Hey! What's happening?" "That wretched creature has run off with my cold cure formula," the Professor shouts furiously. "I'll catch him for you," says Rupert. "But why are you out without a coat on such a cold day?" "I'm trying to get a cold so that I can test my cure," the Professor explains.
"There's a hole in my tree trunk, dear Rupert,"
Raggedy says sarcastically.
"and the wind comes whistling through."
"Well, you won't fill it up with bits of paper. I'll find you something warmer." But Raggedy is not a bit grateful. As Rupert drives off, he steals the roll of paper Mrs. Bear had specifically given Rupert for painting. "I've got a terrible cold," snuffles Edward. "I've brought you my paints," says Rupert. "But I can't stop. Raggedy stole the Professor's cold cure formula, and I must take it back to him. Then he can make you better." "Well, that's strange," says the puzzled little bear. "He said Raggedy had taken his cold cure." "He must have made a mistake," says Edward. "Stay and do some painting with me." Rupert is only too glad to get warm. "I did bring some paper too, but I must have dropped it on the way." "I'll dry this in front of the fire," says Rupert, "so I can give it to Mummy." "Edward! Look! How did that writing get there?" cries the astonished little bear. "Let's see if the same happens to mine," suggests Edward, holding his by the fire. "It must be the Professor's formula," gasps Rupert. "I'll take it to him right away." "Oh, Rupert, I am glad to see you," says the Professor. "I've caught cold now. Have you got the formula?" "Yes," says Rupert proudly, holding out the 2 sheets. But all they can see are Rupert's and Edward's paintings.
Oh, they're very nice,
says the Professor politely.
but where is my cold cure?
Rupert can't understand it. The letters and figures have gone.
Oh, why, I remember,
Cries the Professor.
I wrote it in invisible ink in case someone stole it from me.
Invisible ink? Says Rupert, surprised.
What's that? I have a bottle you can have,
says the Professor, rummaging around on his desk.
Here you are. Just write on a piece of paper and then hold it in front of the fire like this. And there we are. Now to work,
he cries, happy once again. Among his pots and powders he does rain.
I've finished,
he cries.
You'll find no fault with my formula written in cobalt salt.
What's cobalt salt?
Invisible ink, of course. Oh, I'm better.
Can I have some for Edward?
Of course,
says the Professor, happily handing Rupert a bottle.
Only 1 spoonful, mind.
But first I must go and help Raggetty, Rupert explains, hurrying towards the door. He gets a terrible draught from the hole in the tree.
He needs a door,
says the Professor.
I feel like some fresh air now. I'll make him one.
Rupert is impatient to be off.
Raggetty,
calls Rupert.
Raggetty!
I wonder where he's got to.
Never mind. We'll make the door as a surprise.
What was that? Rupert looks up. It sounded as though it was coming from the tree. Trees don't catch cold, puzzles Rupert. That's my roll of paper.
Get me out of here!
Shouts Raggetty.
I'm caught!
And you caught a cold, says Rupert.
It's all your fault!
Raggetty cries furiously. Never mind, says Rupert soothingly. I've got some of the Professor's cold cure with me.
What's that noise?
Cries Raggetty nervously.
Someone wants to get in!
And he dives under the bed. It's only the Professor hammering, explains Rupert. Come on now, drink it down. Cries Raggetty happily. And he takes Raggetty by the hand to show him what the noise was all about.
That's the best door I've ever made,
says the Professor, feeling very pleased with himself, and he hurries off. Rupert is a little doubtful himself, but Raggetty has found another use for it. It makes a marvellous swing. It squeaks and creaks, and crash, it's on the ground.
Horrible door! Horrible, horrible, horrible door!
Where have you been, Rupert? Oh dear, what's happened here? Mr. Bear is not at all surprised when he hears Rupert's story. The Professor is a very clever man, he laughs, but he isn't much good at carpentry. There you are, Raggetty. I don't think that should come off. I must take the Professor's cold cure to Edward, says Rupert. I'll take it, says Mr. Bear, as soon as I've got you safely home. It's a letter to Edward, Rupert explains, to go with the bottle. Mrs. Bear thinks he must be joking. Watch. Dear Edward, Here is the Professor's cold cure. 1 spoonful will do the trick. Love, Rupert. I'll take it to him right away. Can you ask him for my paints? Asks Rupert. I'll paint Raggety's door tomorrow.
All of his games. Rupert, Rupert the bear, everyone come and join in all of his games.